Welcome back to Straight Facts on Wednesday. The Don Husam is with me. Mo Gender is in the house. How are you, boys? You both well?
Yes. This is a beautiful day. The sun is out again. It was a little bit cold last week. I think I'm the only one that actually loves the sun this much, because it's just the weather thing. But yeah, we're here. You get me. Big up to everyone in the chat. Make sure you guys are liking. Make sure you guys are subscribing. And yeah, this is the best Straight Facts show. Let's go. I have a lot on my mind today. I have a lot to say. So yeah.
Alhamdulillah, everything is good. Guys, listen. You know the drill, guys. You're enjoying the show. Don't let us stop and ask you to like the video. Help us. Help the algorithms for the channel, for the show. We need 1,000 or 1,500 likes live. And if you're watching this on the replay, you know what to do before you go. You know what? The like button is underneath the live chat. You hit it. And then you go on and enjoy the show. Smash the likes now. 1,000 likes. We have over 1,000 people now watching. We need at least in the first 5 minutes, 500 likes, and then keep going. Come on, people. Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Absolutely. And we've got a lot to delve into. Still fallout from the weekend going on. We've got European games tonight with Man United in action. Arsenal and Liverpool play this evening as well. We've got a massive claim from the Athletic regarding
Man United
Chelsea.
today?
Yeah, we're in the Europa League tonight. Yes.
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
This is now it's a new era.
I will say that. So what happens is with the Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League, there is one. They all get a week each. The Conference League, I don't think it's until December, where it's only that league on in that week. Does that make sense? But for the rest of the tournament, you're literally going to have conference. There are going to be some nights where Conference League, Champions League, and Europa League are all on the same nights. But it's going to be mixed and spread over the days, which I actually quite like. Although they get things so stupid in this country. No disrespect to Chelsea and City's games last night, but they were games that were going to win. Liverpool-West Ham is the only real juicy tie in the Carabao Cup. That should have been last night because Man United are in Europe tonight. And even Liverpool fans, when you're being honest, you'd like to probably watch it. Hope they'll lose. A bit of banter, but your own. No, they get the scheduling wrong. But loads to delve into today. A big claim regarding Chelsea as well. But Husam, again, I always like to explain to people the titles of our videos are not always based on what I think or news stories. Sometimes they're based on what the panelists think as well. And Husam said to me all day in the group chat, Terry, we've got to speak about Arsenal first. We need to speak about the Arsenal hypocrisy. We need to speak about the Arsenal cheat claims. We have to talk about the Arsenal dark arts. So Husam, I am handing over to you.
Listen, for me, the last 3-4 days have exposed nothing but the hypocrisy of all the fan bases, that are calling out Arsenal. I think everyone is just jealous of Arsenal. I think Arsenal have absolutely rattled both Manchester City fans and players. And I'm saying this from the exact opposite side because I lived the other life that Man City fans claim that should be the right way to do stuff. I was the Liverpool fan for 7 years. All I heard was, all Klopp has is one league title in 9 years. All Klopp has is one league title in 8 years. You have one UCL and one Premier League. You've done this. You've got the best right back in the world and the best left back and the best goalkeeper and the best center back and the best winger and blah, 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 blah. And you've only won one Premier League and one Champions League. No one ever gave me cookie points for playing beautiful football. No one ever said, oh, you lost to Man City 5-0, but it's okay because you done it the right way. We still got cooked. They still ruined us. They still spoke badly about Liverpool. And I think the hypocrisy shown by the Man City fans is absolutely hilarious and delusional because I want to give the reverse scenario. The Emirates. Arsenal are 2-1 down to Manchester City. Manchester City have 10 men. If Arsenal don't win that game 3-2, everyone comes here and says, Arsenal don't have the mentality to win the Premier League. Arsenal's problem is their mentality. Arsenal should have won the game. Manchester City had 10 men. Manchester City scored a pinball goal at the end, and everyone's supposed to sit up here and praise Manchester City. All the pressure was on Man City. Even when I was doing the watch-along, everyone in my chat was like, yo, they're down to 10 men. Now City are going to score 4 or 5 goals. But they're so rattled and they're so irritated. And I want to call out this rat, Bernardo Silva, as well. Drake took the biggest L this summer, but in his words, I got fake people showing fake love to me. This is the same guy that did not clap us in a guard of honor. This is the same guy that was beefing Liverpool fans 4 years ago. All of a sudden, you want to show me prop. Don't show me prop. I don't want to hear any Liverpool prop from you. You're the biggest rat, and you should have been sent off. And once again, I go back to the same to the game. I'm not even calling out hypocrisies from the league in general. I don't even want to do the whole kumbaya stuff. All the referees are inconsistent. I don't even want to do any of that. In the same exact game, how many Manchester City players could have been booked for dissent? How many Manchester City players could have been booked for just running to the referee and complaining? Doku kicked the ball away. Nothing happened. This is the problem with the hypocrisy. And this all ties back to my main point, which is actually something that I started last year. It evens out. It levels out. Everyone has decisions against them except Manchester City. That's the one football club that in significant moments have never had decisions go against them ever. This is the same football club that robbed me of a league title because of a Rodri handball away at Goodison. And you know what they did? Instead of them calling out the referees and saying, yeah, it should have been a penalty, we got away with one, they nicknamed it the hand of fraud. And now they're taking this all high and mighty approach, trying to act like they're better than everyone else and everyone should stay humble. How about Erling Haaland stay humble? Because Arteta had to build this shit from the ground up. He came into a team that finished 8th and he had to rebuild them all the way to become a title contender. How about you be humble? The only reason that you joined Manchester City is because the Sheikh bought them 15 years ago. If the Sheikh bought Everton, you'd been playing in dark blue across cities in the north. So let's not sit up here and waffle. You're asking Arsenal to be humble. How about you be humble? You got pocketed 45 minutes playing against 10 men. No one saw you. You were in Saliba and Gabriel's back pocket. You did nothing the whole game. The hypocrisy of fans of all the football clubs is just so delusional. So delusional for us to expect Arsenal to beat Manchester City in their own backyard with 10 men. It's so delusional. And even with that, they almost did it. If it wasn't for a pinball goal and the referee ruining the game. And speaking of the referees ruining the game, last season, Arsenal got robbed away at Newcastle. Arsenal got robbed away at Aston Villa. Liverpool had the biggest robbery this season away at Spurs. The lines were not drawn. Manchester City versus Spurs. The lines were not drawn on an offside goal. They did not even draw the lines. They did not even PGMOL anything. They did not even show the whole world, yo, look at the VAR replay. Here's the Microsoft Paint lines that we draw using the shift button. They showed us nothing. And life kept it stepping. Now, I'm not saying there's any conspiracies. I'm not saying that Manchester City pays referees. I'm not going to go that far. All I'm saying, I think the referees bottle it in front of Manchester City. Maybe they're afraid of getting called out by Pep. Maybe they're afraid of the aftermath. Maybe they're afraid of all of these things because that's the one football club that consistently has decisions going for them in every single significant moment, in every single title race. There hasn't been a single moment in a big game in which a refereeing decision affects Manchester City in a negative connotation. Now, some shameless City fan will come tell me, but the advantage against Spurs, Jack Grealish was literally running at 4 centre-backs all quicker than him. So let's not sit up here and act like that is a significant moment compared to red cards, compared to not drawing offside lines, compared to handballs in the penalty box away at Goodison. And now I'm sat here, I'm not changing my energy. I'm not applying the pressure on Arsenal to win it. Don't you all tell us Manchester City is the best club in the world and the biggest club in Manchester and they're amazing and they do all that stuff? They still have to win the league for me because guess what? You already have Benitez and Mourinho agreed on this. It's not even about the money that you spent this summer. It's about investments from the past. You already had a strong enough team. You've already won the league title and 2 and the 3rd and the 4th, and you spent all that money improving your team. I'm not trying to hear it. I'm not trying to hear any excuses about Rodri being out because guess what? When Virgil van Dijk, Joe Gomez, and Joel Matip, 3 centre-backs were out for 6 months, they called it the worst title defense ever. When Saliba got injured for Arsenal, they said Arsenal bottled it. So I'm not changing my energy. All pressure is on Manchester City. Manchester City should have to win this league. And I'm going to call out my own fan base. I'm going to call out multiple fan bases as well from the top 6 sides. If you're a Spurs fan or a Chelsea fan, I get it. I completely get it. 100%. Every Chelsea fan should want Arsenal to lose the league. Every Spurs fan should want Arsenal to lose the league. Rivalry, tribalism, no problem. I understand it. My issue is with Liverpool fans and Manchester United fans. You're basing your whole arguments based off because there are 3 Arsenal fans I know in real life that are annoying, that are going to claim Saliba is the best centre-back in the world. I want Manchester City to save football. Football's already ruined. What do you mean save football? Football is in the worst moment it's ever been since we started watching. Yes, Man United were dominant, but it was never this case. It was never like this. This was never the levels that it ever reached, even when Man United were good, because you always had contenders, you always had stuff like that. With Manchester City, They're not going to save football. If Liverpool can't win this league title, I want Arsenal to win it. If Liverpool cannot win this league title and we fall off, I will be supporting Arsenal in the title race if we can do it. Because Arsenal are a club with history, tradition, and Arsenal have zero charges. Not 150, sorry, 130, not 130, zero charges. And they've spent this from the ground up. And for me, the thing that annoys me the most is just the hypocrisy of the rivals. Stop acting like your team would attack with 10 men away at the Etihad. They got the draw, luckily, to begin with. Manchester City were lucky to get that draw because Michael Oliver has main character syndrome. I love Dan Potts yesterday on Straight Facts debunking it. He's like, nah, he did send a player off. When? 2014. Wow. Fucking 10 years ago, he sent off a Manchester City player. Come on now. I genuinely don't believe there's anyone who can recall any moment, and a significant moment in a title race in which Manchester City were harmed by referees. I can name you 5 from me, 5 from Arsenal right now.
Do you know what's really interesting about what you've said there? The bit there's loads to unpack. What I'm going to pull out on is Hamza said it last night on Terrace. He said Arsenal are now favourites to win the league, but then wouldn't say that Arsenal are better than City without Rodri being there. Arsenal can only be the favourites from this point if they're 2 points behind City. If you think Arsenal as a squad and with their manager are now better than City because they've lost Rodri for the majority of the season. If you still think City are better, this notion of the pressure's all on Arsenal to win the league, it's contradictory at best. Delusional, ridiculous, awful logic at worst, in my opinion. If you now think Arsenal are the better of the two teams based on players that are available in the circumstance, then it makes sense why you would say Arsenal were the favourites. But what's annoying me is that Arsenal are not considered favourites in terms of quality, experience, know-how of getting over the line. But everybody's trying to say they have to now go on and win the league. Well, again, whenever I've said a team has to go and win a specific trophy, it's because I think you're the best. There's no excuses for Arsenal not to win the Champions League. Or you think they're better than Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Liverpool? No. Well, then there's a fucking excuse, isn't there? They've got no excuse to not win the Premier League. Oh, do you think they're better equipped to win it than Liverpool or Man City? No way. Then how is there no excuses? That's I wouldn't call it an excuse, but they're genuine reasons. Excuses are literally things you give to get you out of it. Generally speaking, you give an excuse, and they're normally a little bit hollow to get you out of why you didn't do your homework, why you were home late, why did you arrive at work late? You give a little bit of an excuse. If you've got a genuine reason, no one's ever called a genuine reason an excuse before. And again, I'm all for the banter, but the problem is when the banter becomes part of genuine analysis. And that is where I don't mind fans doing it per se, but when you question them, they don't actually want to say what they think. But it's when I see it from the mainstream media. And you've seen it with this dark art stuff. With this dark arts thing. I want to play a little clip here. What Arteta has said about the dark arts. Take a little listen to this. I want to get Mo's opinion on it.
No comments. I've been there before.
Sorry.
I've been there before. I was there for 4 years.
Of course.
So.
What does that mean?
I have all the information, so I know. Believe me.
He was asked about the dark arts. He said no comment, and then he basically said, "I was at City for 4 years. Trust me, I know all about dark arts." But we've seen most clubs celebrated for dark arts. Why do you suddenly think, Mo, the media, we know rival clubs are angry about it. They're writing letters to the PGMOL. City fans are kicking off about it. Arsenal's rivals are kicking off about it. Why are Arsenal and Arteta specifically getting so much attention for how they score corners, delaying time when they need to, but everybody else gets praised?
Basically, I echo what Husam said in some aspects, not every aspect, and I disagree with you on a couple of points. We'll raise it after this. But I actually think, in my opinion, the guy that started the dark art, actually, which is Mourinho called him out, is Pep Guardiola. And Pep Guardiola is the one that used to tell Barcelona players to surround the referees all the time, to get players sent off. We remember that. We remember the Busquets on the ground against Inter in 2010 holding his face when he was completely okay. Now, Rodri did it against Kai Havertz. So that is called dark arts. Actually, that is cheating. Actually, when you hold your face when nothing happens. So Pep Guardiola, and I've known that for a while, like Pep Guardiola is the one who tells his players to act, fake and do all the stuff. That's from the Barcelona. That has not to do with Man City. That is from back in the days. But everyone do this. But Arsenal, people don't like Arsenal. I'm going to tell you why people don't like Arsenal. Because if Arsenal win the league, there is nothing to banter. There's nothing, nobody to talk about, bro. There's not going to be Chelsea channels or Man City channels or Liverpool channels making fun of Arsenal. Basically, that is what it is. And there's not going to be anything to banter Arsenal with. They have been bad for 20 years, and now they are coming up in the rise, so they banter. Also, we have to speak about their fan base. People say, but their fan base are annoying and everything. I'm going to say this. Liverpool fans were way more annoying in the quadruple season. Husam was very annoying in the quadruple season. I remember I hated when Liverpool won. I used to come on the Football Terrace match reactions, and Liverpool fans were so arrogant and annoying, and I really prayed for their downfall, and it happened. They didn't win the quadruple, and it was great to see, right? So I have the same feeling. But now this notion that people are siding with Man City is absolutely ridiculous. And people don't answer the question. When I ask, and that is no fault of Manchester City, but however, hear me out here. Michael Oliver is the referee that refed Man City and Arsenal last year with Kovacic, right? Michael Oliver is the one that refed Liverpool, Man City, and didn't give the penalty against Doku.
Mm-hmm.
The Premier League must be doing something on purpose. And that's not, I'm not going to say Man City are cheating, but even you as a Man City fan, you have to ask yourself a question. There is this officer or this judge that gave the wrong verdict, right? Twice. And now the third case, you're still giving it to the same judge. There has to be something wrong here. We have to stop and ask ourselves this question, right? Because even Howard Webb came out and said, yeah, Kovacic should have been sent off. And everyone said that Doku should have been penalized with a penalty that could have changed the title race completely. For the third game running, that can decide a title, or imagine if Arsenal lost, you're giving it to the same guy who is accused, rightfully or wrongfully, of going to the Emirates and getting paid. I don't know the whole information. There has to be something fishy here. I'm not saying Man City did this and that, but come on now. There has to be something fishy. And by the way, Arteta, the dark arts and everything, I think Arteta is just an annoying guy, just basically, and we have to say it as it is. He's just an annoying guy. He's that guy who rattled. You know what? We've all seen these managers. We've all seen the Mourinho. Mourinho used to rattle people in this country, in England. I remember in 2004 when he came in, he just rattled the press. He went to Italy. Everyone is irritated by him. Arteta probably is the same guy. And people say, but you haven't won anything. But you're rattled. Imagine if he won. But you're rattled already. Imagine if he won. Right?
This is the irony. Jose didn't become Jose after he won the Champions League with Porto. Jose was behaving, when you speak to people, Jose was like that the majority of his career, but he did it on purpose. Sir Alex Ferguson, I know he's a serial winner, but Fergie used to say a lot of things, and I wish Fergie was managing he managed a little bit when people had Twitter and stuff, but it wasn't like it is now. It wasn't the social media era. The amount of times he would say things that people would go, oh, he's a liar here. Oh, he's contradicted himself. Yeah, on purpose. Fergie's dark arts was always about getting into the minds of his fellow managers. And the only person that he never had the opportunity, I mean, age plays a part sometimes, but every other manager, Jose, Rafa Benitez, Kevin Keegan, Wenger, he managed with his dark arts to get under their skin, to make them behave in a certain way, which is why the fan bases of all those clubs still despise him and Manchester United until this day. The bit I'm not enjoying about all of this is that suddenly Arsenal are being made to look. I mean, I want to show you something that's really funny today. I watch this show religiously. I really enjoy the overlap. This morning, the overlaps thumbnail said, "Are Arsenal cheats?" based on their dark arts, which is a massive claim when you consider that at no point have they ever done a show where they've said, "Are City cheats?" and discussed the allegations. They haven't asked the question in that way. They've now changed the thumbnail, though, after a lot of complaints by people, to "Are City guilty?" So they've now changed it. They've gone and changed it. And I think it's because Paul Scholes does make a joke in the show that Arsenal are cheating with the way David Raya holds the ball on the floor and everything else. And stats got put out that show how long Arsenal will take to do restarts. But then again, people have gone and found other stats that show that when it comes to goal kicks this season, Man City take longer than anybody else to take them. The problem is, and I've always said this about diving, it's when people moan about diving. I always get annoyed because every single one of us has players on our team that dive. When we win a penalty through diving, we cheer it. When we concede one, we condemn it as cheating. And I've said it before, unless you're self-policing, keep your mouth quiet. I've seen Chelsea fans in that. I will never attack the dark arts because Fergie was the master of them, the best in the world. Now, he did different things to what Pep did. City fans, you've got a manager who is renowned for it. Your tactical fouls to stop attacks against you are legendary. Chelsea fans, when it comes to style of play, can be considered a dark art in terms of sitting behind the ball, being hard to break down, being pragmatic. Chelsea are famous because of what Jose brought in and what he built, turned you into, and you continue that beyond him, and you are famous for it, and you guys love it. How the hell are you condemning Arsenal's tactics? The only element here that I do agree with is Arsenal fans for years complained about other clubs doing all these things. They're now doing them. But remember, it's coming from the other direction. Arsenal fans, in essence, were complaining about, oh, you guys do this and you guys do that. Because in their heart of hearts, they wanted it. That is what envy and jealousy does. That's what envy and jealousy does. Whenever I've got a friend, every time me and my mates buy a new car, he always like, why'd you spend your money on that? Why are you wasting your money? Why are you doing this? And you can just tell it's because he's not in a position to be able to do it. And we always say, look, listen, bro, you know, my mate Jay was like, I treated myself. So what? But you can see he isn't asking the question because he's genuinely worried about you running out of money. He's asking the question because he's annoyed because right now he can't afford one. And it isn't even like any of my mates show off. We're a little bit too old for that. You can always smell jealousy in the air. But I find it so crazy that Man United fans, Chelsea fans, City fans, who, Liverpool had a manager that wound everybody up, who used to run onto the pitch and celebrate goals and not get in trouble. It weren't even a few years ago when Man United were rightfully getting, by the way, loads of penalties we deserved. Klopp comes out, speaks to the media. Suddenly we stop getting them. That is part of the dark arts. Everyone going weird about what Carl Walker was doing with the poking stuff. I'm sitting there listening to everybody talking, saying, you've never played football. From a kid, I was told, stand on the back of the Achilles, pinch. This is what I was told when I was 10 years old by a football coach. Pinch the lad when you're at corner, just at the bottom of his bum, top of his thigh, like at the back of his leg, pinch him. Make him hit you, make him do something, get him sent off. These are just normal things that are taught to players. And we're suddenly acting like, oh my God, it's strange or it's weird. I'm going to quote Sean Dyche again. This is utter woke nonsense. This is all part of football. We should not be condemning it. We should be thankful. And I know you won't like this bit, Husam, but I'm so glad that we're starting to see some real rivalry again. The Liverpool City rivalry was pants. It was pony. It was fake. It was boring. This is proper.
Even if you are right, why are people now saying that was better? Like, that's
liars.
the thing.
They're liars.
No, but that's the thing that I don't get it. At the time, everyone was saying the Liverpool City rivalry is so fake. They hug and love each other, and Klopp props up Pep, and Pep props up Klopp, and blah blah blah. Now, because people don't like Arsenal's dark arts, all of a sudden the Pep Klopp rivalry is amazing. But you weren't telling me that when I was mid rivalry.
You're a mute, Mo.
Muted myself. What dark arts are we talking about? Stop fueling the narrative.
Time is dark arts. Imagine.
There is no dark arts. We have been seeing the same things for 25 years or 30 years. People have been doing exactly the same.
It's just football.
There are no dark arts. Actually, this new thing that Arsenal are doing dark arts. What dark arts? There are no dark arts. Like, what are we talking about, guys?
Time is dark
no,
arts.
listen.
Guys, the media invented this yesterday. Guys.
Well, no. I mean, in fairness, in fairness.
But what I mean is that it surfaced to the pit. It surfaced about Arsenal, but this word dark arts is something that is part.
Do you know what it is? It's a case of this, right? It's almost like everything Arsenal have ever been ridiculed for not being. From when they stopped winning the Premier League in 2004 until challenging for it again now, they were slammed for not being nasty enough, for not being man enough, for not being savvy, for not using the dark arts, for always trying to play nice football, even when it wasn't conducive, even when they didn't have the best footballing team they tried. They are now being smart. They are now being savvy, and people can't handle it. That's all this is about. And look, we saw that journalist from The Athletic, absolute scumbag of a man, who did the article saying that Partey injured Rodri, and it was altered, but it was part of a piece of this horrible jostling at corners. It's now led to one of the best players in the world's knee being hurt. Firstly, this crying over, I've said it before, it should just become part of the rules. You should be allowed to push and pull as much as you want on corners because it happens anyway. It's only every now and then they fucking penalize someone. It's ridiculous. But again, more utter woke nonsense, and trying to blame Arsenal and Partey for Rodri's injury is an abomination. But it's because certain journalists, certain online personalities are fuming that Arsenal are now doing the things that they never used to do, and they are a better team. Can you imagine the outrage
But Man
if
City
they actually
themselves
win a
do
major
that.
trophy? Sorry?
But Man City themselves do that, though. This is why when I started this show, I spoke about hypocrisy. One thing I can't stand is show the same energy. Manchester City, tactical fouls. Mourinho called it out. They stop every counter-attack against them with a tactical foul. How many times Fernandinho got sent off? How many times Rodri got sent off? How many times any of these got sent off? Exactly. So they stop these counterattacks with tactical fouls and shit like that. And City also wastes time when City are up. City also do all this stuff when City are up. City pass the ball left, right, 700 million times as well. So who cares?
I mean, there was a rule change in England, partly because of what Liverpool's 70s and 80s team used to do. They would go 1-0 up and just keep passing the ball between the players and the goalkeeper when they each better pick it up. And there was no time limit. So, I mean, so they would literally go 1-0 up in the 50th minute and then literally just keep passing between the centre-backs and the goalkeeper.
They actually changed that rule because of Egypt in the World Cup.
Yeah, I guarantee you there's part of it to do with that as well. They want to make the game a bit more entertaining. I want to ask you boys a bit more football talk. Husam, how big an impact do you think the Rodri injury is going to have? Do you make Arsenal favourites from this point?
I mean, first and foremost, we wish Rodri a speedy recovery. You know, we want the best players available out there. Second of all, look, I think this does have a negative effect on Manchester City, but I have to preface this by saying Rodri deserves to win the Ballon d'Or. Rodri is the best player in the Premier League and probably one of the most important players in the world. However, the issue with the Manchester City situation is, for Rodri, there are 2-3 replacements. They're not as good. They're not amazing like Rodri. There are 2-3 replacements. I think the player that they would struggle if they lost out on was going to be Erling Haaland this season. The reason being is they have no more Alvarez. They don't have that bench option on the bench to come in and make an impact and make a difference. That's why they need Erling Haaland to be fit all season long. Now, Rodri is clutch for them. Rodri will show up in the big moments. Rodri shows up when they need him. But as we saw in the first 3 games of the season, they won all 3 games without Rodri. And I looked at their next 8 games, with all due respect, other than Newcastle, the next 8 games, Bournemouth, shit like that, I expect them to win every single one of them without Rodri. So it's not like they're going to Anfield away without Rodri and like Emirates and Old Trafford. And they're going to like, you know, they're going to like Bournemouth. They're going to clubs like that. So I expect them to keep on winning, to be honest with you, because their team does not just rely on Rodri. I mean, Kovacic does a role. Hell, we even saw the Rat play there like 3 years ago in DM. We've seen Gundogan play in DM before as well. So they have players who can do a role there. And with all due respect, when Manchester City are playing against, like, I'd say probably the bottom 14 teams in the league, bottom 14, 15 teams in the league, all of them they can beat home and away without Rodri, because they can just play Kovacic, Gundogan, and it's all good to go for them. It's not like they need Rodri anyway. Didn't they beat Chelsea, I swear, without Rodri? So, yeah, like, you could make it bottom 15 even if you include
But
Chelsea.
I want to just challenge Terry on something here for Arsenal that he said about Hamza yesterday, which is related to the football. So you said that Arsenal now aren't favorites because they are not better than City. So you think City should win the league. But I don't think if City lose the league, it's a failure for them. They already won it 4 years, right? But if Arsenal don't win the league this season, there's going to be context and everything, but it is a failure for them. That is why the word should, it comes to the play here. Arsenal should win the league, because otherwise you have been with the same manager, the longest serving manager for a top 5 clubs, and I'm saying it, 5, top 5 club, without winning the league or the Champions League, right? Your manager, you are the longest club now without a league title from the top 5 clubs. So the word should come to play. There should be pressure on Arsenal, and especially with Rodri's injury. Now, he's the best player at Manchester City. There should be. a pressure on
Don't you think there is already pressure?
I think so. So again,
yeah, my point now,
so
the pressure.
Mo,
Can I answer Husam a little bit? Can I answer?
Yeah, because I want to
Husam
respond,
said,
but yeah, go on.
Okay.
Yeah.
The fact is, Husam, the fact that Rodri got injured, right? Which is it's circumstances. That means there is more pressure, Husam. If Arsenal didn't do enough in the transfer window, now with Rodri being injured, which is one of the biggest parts of the Man City squad, there is more pressure now. That you didn't sign this, you didn't sign that. That is more pressure. That doesn't mean that Arsenal are better than City, by the way. But also, we shouldn't shut the league down because Arsenal aren't better than City.
But I think it's a combination. So again, I was only asking the question yesterday. I don't even think I made a point on the show yesterday. There should be more pressure on Arsenal. There should be more pressure on Liverpool as well from this point, because I think it is a leveler. Rodri missing the rest of the season. Unless they sign someone like Zubimendi in January, even if they bring in a makeshift, they're not bringing. But they're not bringing in somebody as good as Rodri, who's ready for the Premier League. Right? They're not, right? So there is more pressure on Arsenal to win it now. I suppose the language of they have to win it or they should win it. I do believe then, if you believe they're now the better team, better squad because of this injury, if you think it's that marginal and this big injury puts them above City, then I think the language is fine. But if, like Hamza, you don't think Arsenal are better in any capacity, you can't say they're now favourites. But you're absolutely right, Mo. There has to be pressure on Arsenal to win the league. Context or no context, that pressure should remain. At the moment, I still think City are the favourites. Again, marginal. However, the next 3 to 4 games is where I'm going to set my stall out on. I want us, because I'll give you an example. Arsenal, a lot of Arsenal fans stated that their squad wasn't good enough at the beginning of the season when Calafiori and Rice was missing and Moreno was injured and Odegaard were out. The rhetoric was, see, told you this is why we didn't have a big enough and good enough squad, is what a lot of Arsenal fans said. But they've got through that period with away wins at Villa, beating Spurs and getting a very good draw in the reality of the circumstance. And I think they would have gone on to win Arsenal. My gut feeling is if that, but anyway, they got the draw. It then begs the question, well, you've done that with all those injuries. Is that squad a lot better than you thought it was?
Yes.
So that's the point. Is it actually better? Again, we're looking at a small sample size, but some very difficult games. All the gooners that said, I told you this squad wasn't good enough, they might end up being right still. So I'm not saying they've been proven wrong. I want to be very clear about that. But they've got through the period which they said they would basically get the season was going to be over. They're now in a good position. Let's see how City respond to Rodri being out. Also, you look at Arsenal's next 3 games. They play, I don't know which order it's in, but it's Leicester, Bournemouth, and Southampton. They win all 3 of them, and City drop points and maybe look a bit shaky without Rodri.
Come on, Newcastle.
My view will then be, I think Arsenal are now the favourites. Because I just think that there was so much, there's been too much of an overreaction to the injury to Rodri. The same as I said back then, I'm keeping the same energy. Every Arsenal fan that backs Arteta, backs his squad, backs their players, they lost a couple to injury and went, that's it, season over. No. My club, who I do believe the greatest Premier League team of all time still, we won multiple league titles when we had players out missing and injured. And when we narrowly missed out, and most seasons under Fergie when we didn't win it, we were still very, very close to winning it. We were still there or thereabouts. This idea of writing your season off, and Nobbin said it on Monday, and I thought, fair play to him as a City fan. He said, I still expect City to win the league. And I also think that's true. But there is more pressure on Arsenal now, and that pressure needs to exist. Let's do some of these super chats that have come through. This here says, Terry, if I'm not a fan of something, I'm not the perfect person to ask for my opinion. This is referring to your guests on your channel.
I have no idea what that means.
If I'm not a fan of something, then I am not the perfect person to ask. Well, I think you sometimes are the perfect person. I'll give you an example. Some of the best parenting advice I've ever been given is from non-parents who are not emotional about what you should and shouldn't do with children. They just give you sometimes. So not every case. Sometimes I have no idea what they're talking about. But I actually think, and I think that's why the Football Terrace has been such a huge success. And we know it's been a huge success because 99.9% of all football YouTubers have gone from solely talking about their club to now either changing their channels completely and mirroring what the Terrace does, or they've launched shows on their channels that do what the Terrace does. And I'm very, very proud of that. I think it's amazing that people have done it. So I definitely think you don't have to be a fan of something, or you don't have to be a professional of something. You don't need to be a politician to give it a political opinion. You don't need to be, I don't need to be a carpenter to say, that table you've built me is uneven. I don't need to be a carpenter to be able to give you that opinion and give you my feedback personally. I don't think you need to have those things. This here from Patrick Lynch says it's crazy when City don't get what they want. Narrative is opponents will not play football and are cowards. Professional football is winning games, getting points. How you do it doesn't matter.
But Patrick, the problem I have is I lived the other side. We used to play football and also lose. And then people never gave us cookie or brownie points because we played football and lost. You know what they said? You've got one title in 8 years. You've got one Champions League in 8 years. So you're just proving to the whole world you're hypocrites. So choose which is it? Are you a style of play person or a trophies person?
And you know, I said this about the one criticism I always had of Klopp is there was never a plan B. And I think if you'd have had a bit more of a plan B, and you go back to those injury-plagued seasons you had, and that one where you had no centre-backs always winds me up. Because it wasn't, he tried everything. Central midfielders, Henderson playing there. As soon as he stuck, they weren't very good, but as soon as he stuck centre backs back in their positions and midfielders back in midfield, you were brilliant again. Again, that season, yes, the injuries hurt you, but Jurgen Klopp made the mistakes. If he would have just played Nate Phillips and co in centre back straight away, you may have won the league that year. You know, the injuries by themselves can't just be an excuse, and we have to keep the same energy for that. Big up Don Husam for keeping it real, bro. It's funny how City fans are rattled because our game plan let Diaz be their biggest attacking threat.
You should have opened up, Nishant. So you lost 6-2, but you lost bravely.
Husam is talking, but I hear Terry's voice.
That's crazy, Shawnee. That's crazy. Facts don't care about your feelings, Habibi. I just state facts.
Can someone question these pundits and fans as to why it's okay for other teams to waste time and play the dark arts, yet when Arsenal do it, they have committed a crime? Maybe Mo, Husam, and Terry can answer this.
Mo is the best person to answer this as an Inter fan because they have a lot of history of shit housing. So
yes,
talk to them, Mo.
It's just about the hate, bro. It's about the hate, to be honest. Like today, okay, Paul Scholes, for some reason, when he was asked about it, he said to Jimmy Carragher, it's called cheating. Is it called cheating, really? Like all the teams do it, bro. Paul Scholes, someone need to tell the guy, like, bro, you played football for 20 plus years. Just grow up. It's not called cheating. It's part of football. And there are rules and laws to prevent them. And if the referee don't prevent them, it's their fault. It's not the club's fault. Arsenal are doing exactly the same thing. But it's people just don't understand that sometimes pundits, and I'm just going to call people out, just follow the trend. You know what I mean? It's a trend. It was a trend for the last 2-3 days to call out Arsenal. So I have to follow the trend. The Athletic wrote an article blaming freaking Party for Rodri's injury.
Crazy.
To follow the trend.
Crazy.
And Shawnee here says fans hate Arsenal because they're fans of other teams. That isn't the point that's being made, though, Shawnee.
I think they're fans of other teams. What do you mean?
You're deliberately missing the point. It's about being consistent. So you can dislike Arsenal without saying dark arts are wrong when you love a manager at your club who did it and gave you the best era that you've ever had. And the media and the mainstream media and the Athletic, as an example we just gave, they should be non-partisan. Sky, especially in the UK, Sky Sports that everybody pays ridiculous money for, should be non-partisan to a certain degree. They shouldn't be having agendas. We pay too much money.
Before you go on, I actually clocked it. Do you know why Man United fans and Chelsea fans don't want Arsenal to win? Because Liverpool won in the last years and Man City already winning. If Arsenal go back to the top and win trophies, where does that leave the other two? So forget Spurs. Where does that, like, there is no reason for Man United fans to not want Arsenal to win and want their city rivals to win 5 in a row, which is you will never catch them. Other than you want them in the mud with you. You want to banter them because you know you're bad and you want to banter them as well.
I don't even know if it's about directly wanting them in the mud anymore. But I think you're onto an absolute winner. It's that element of how is it going to make me look? And we have this thing in the UK, this sort of working class mentality, which is when someone from your working class community starts to do well, for some reason people start to turn on them. if their business is doing well, people start to get funny with them because they're kind of taught in England when you're working class that anybody being successful, anybody doing well is at my detriment, as an example. And I think that mindset feeds itself into football. If Arsenal win the league, it's not about a gal being unbearable online. It is about how does it make my football team look and feel. You're gonna make my football club look bad because you were in the mud. You've got out of the mud and you've been successful. What excuse do I have? And that's why working class people see somebody do well. They get off the housing estate. They start a business. They buy a house. They have a nice car. They have money. Oh, I've got to find a way of saying they've cheated their way there or they've taken from somebody else to get there. Otherwise, I have no excuse for why I'm still living in my mum's house and don't have a full-time job at 35 years of age. And I've got friends like that still. And it's me and my boys, we all grew up literally on the same housing estate or very close to it. There's a handful that have remained and they try and blame everybody but themselves. And we're all looking at each other saying, nah, when you look at my friends and our backgrounds, there is no reason for it to that degree. So I think that's a huge, huge component. I don't understand. Forget local rivalries. I don't understand any member of the top six, barring Spurs because they don't win anything, that wants City to win over Arsenal. And I'll tell you as to why. Because City are setting records that none of us may ever touch. And I thought the whole point of this, and I remember your spaces brilliantly, Husam, the amount of debates there were about who the biggest and the best club were, all anybody spoke about in any of those debates ever was total trophies and the records within them. So how can you be a Chelsea fan going, come on, City, do a 5-peat? That is going to be a record they set that is going to set them apart from you forever. Forever. For absolute ever. And I care more about that sort of stuff than I do a bit of online banter or feeling a bit crap now while I'm in the mud. You know, of course I want Man United to be the team that wins the league, but I don't want Liverpool to do it because they'd match us. I'd pick anybody. If we can't win it, I'd pick anybody else in the league to stop City from doing a 5-peat because I care about the longer term element of these things. City are never getting any of these second yellows. That is the problem. City consistently get away with yellows, not awarded penalties and soft penalties given.
Fact.
Refs are getting paid to ref in Saudi. Well, it's not in Saudi. It's in the UAE. Isn't it? It's in the UAE. It's in the UAE. It's in the UAE. Although I do think some may have. Again, I've read somewhere that some did do some they're conflating a few things there. Newcastle win, and I never speak poorly about them. It's from Terrence.
Newcastle
Daniels.
are winning this Saturday. I'm gonna spoil it for everyone. Newcastle are gonna win big as well. I promise you.
Ooh. They playing City
off St James's Park. Yep.
Is it against City? Oh,
yes, sir.
You reckon?
Hey,
Yeah.
Bruno Guimaraes, I know you have something for me. Joe Linton, Tonali, Harvey Barnes, Isak. Let's go.
Listen, again, people think it's an Arsenal thing when I say this because that's the only response they have nowadays. It's very, very boring and dry. But again, for the league, I think we need City to lose a couple of games. You know, Liverpool and Arsenal to go ahead of them by a few points because we know how good they are with or without Rodri. And it's, again, I want it to be fun. Who would win in a fight, Mo or Sam? Husam.
Yeah, Mo has already answered this before me.
Yeah, Sam would destroy him in about 30 seconds.
Sorry.
He would,
Listen, Mo can beat me in a lot of things, by the way, but just not a fight.
Not in a fight.
Yeah. Not in a fight. I haven't met Husam, but I've met Mo, and I think Husam would screw him up like a ball of paper. Like, yeah. I think he would. That's no disrespect. Fight. That's no disrespect. It would happen. It's simple. Arsenal drives traffic online, hence the narrative targeting Arsenal. No conspiracies. It's easy engagement. We get baited easily. Rival fans have their heads stuck in football tribalism and banter.
Can I call out something, Aya? The problem is people are talking about both sides outside, like out both sides of their mouth. Because one side says everyone that's negative about Arsenal gets views, and the other side is saying everyone that's positive about Arsenal gets views. My thing is, how about everyone just state their honest opinion and we just keep it stepping?
I do think the kind of criticism now, and YouTubers ourselves have started this, and I had a conversation with some of the people on our panel just the other day that were calling each other out in group chats on another stream, saying that I think I'm making these examples up because I don't want to reveal the people because they're private conversations, but I think Don's only saying that for attention. I think Mo only says that for likes. I think that Henry Wright's only doing that for attention. I think Kate only says that to get Arsenal fans to like her. None of those are real examples of what was said to me. I'm just putting it out there. when other YouTubers say that, I think you're damaging the industry where we're trying to build an element of credibility. Now, not everyone will think I'm credible and that you're entitled to that opinion. But the response I don't like seeing about anyone, and I used to defend Lee Gunner on this all the time and will. Lee Gunner didn't hate Arteta because he wanted attention. He gave his honest opinion. Now, I disagree with a lot of his opinions on Arsenal, but I know he means them. The same as I mean what I say. Countering somebody with, I just think you're doing it for attention. You're right, Hassan. It doesn't make sense because supposedly that's what people being horrible are doing it for attention. People are being nice are doing it for attention. Well, you can't really be in the middle on Arsenal right now. You either think they're good or you don't. That kind of
exactly. Exactly.
That's all you hear. So I don't know really. It's an interesting one. Except Husam and Goldberg, I saw almost every YouTuber celebrating Trossard's red card and City's equalizer. It's just Arsenal hate and nothing else.
I said Arsenal were robbed, and I stick by it. Michael Oliver just is a main character syndrome fraud that ruined. You know what genuinely pisses me off on a reel? Forget everything, whether you even think it's a red or whatever. The whole spectacle was ruined. That first 45 minutes was by far the best 45 minutes of football we've seen this whole season, and then it got ruined.
The spectacle, the spectacle was.
Let it
ruined.
go, bro.
Whoever's fault it is. No, it certainly was. But no, I do agree with you, Ghost Nathan. I just don't understand the celebrating of it. Again, it's not about defending Arsenal. I'm talking about your football club. Up until the last 2 minutes, I expected every single fan of English football to be cheering for Bayern Munich in 1999. Because why would any other English team why would any of them would have wanted Man United to do a treble is beyond me. Why would you ever want that to happen? Even Everton fans, who at the time, by the way, in the late 90s, Everton had not that far, it wasn't that far back, were winning Premier Leagues and were in the Champions League, and at the time still thought they were going to get back to it. They wouldn't have wanted a treble. Although it was an achievement Liverpool hadn't got the treble, they still wouldn't have gone, I'd prefer United to get it first. You want no one to get it. You want no one to do well. But now suddenly, I know someone has to win the league, but celebrating a team achieving something that's probably never going to be repeated in our lifetimes, if ever again, it's very weird to me. Chelsea fan, Arsenal fans piss me off so much, stop me from wanting them to win the league. Yeah, but again,
Riley, here's my logic. The reason that is illogical is Arsenal fans, Liverpool fans, and Man United fans are the three most annoying fan bases because we're the three biggest fan bases and we have the most fans around the world, and it's normal that you're going to encounter annoying people. My thing to you, Riley, is, and everyone, by the way, it's okay if you don't want Arsenal to win the league because you support Chelsea. That by itself is an excuse. You don't need anything else. But this is a response to kind of more Liverpool and United fans. I cannot base my argument based off who has the more annoying fan base, because then it's nonsensical and illogical. If it's based off of rivalry, if a United fan hates Arsenal more than they hate City, I get that part. But please don't tell me their fans are annoying, because that's just weak. Who cares if their fans are annoying?
But even if they are, I'm going to go one up from Husam here, Riley. Put your emotions towards Arsenal fan aside and think about your own club. Now, we all may sit here and go, I don't think fans wanting something will make a difference. Well, that's not according to Standard FC. Standard FC state. So the same people that will say, because a lot of these people correlate. Standard FC say, if you moan and demand the best from your club will get better. So therefore, who you support to win the league makes an impact as well. Surely that logic has to remain the same. If what I say, think and believe and push out there has no impact on anybody at all, nobody would ever be triggered by my opinion, would they? So It either has an impact or it has zero impact. You can't have it both ways. I'm not saying you do that, Riley, but just putting that out there. I want to say again, just like yesterday, the super chats are absolutely overwhelming. I want to say thank you to everyone that is putting them in. You're absolute legends for that. We've got a big Chelsea topic that we're going to get to soon as well. VAR should just see avatars running on the field so that they basically could not figure out which team. Do you know what? That if you could create the AI that does it and there's no bias in it, it would. Can you imagine if you could create accurate AI referees that work in real time? That would be amazing.
I would take them over Premier League referees all day, every day. Bring me a robot. Elon, your time to shine, brother. Let's go.
Well, but then you'd always get spectacles ruined though, because they would act on facts and not emotion. Raya made I'm just so that's
Imagine the robot malfunctions and sends off someone mid-game.
Do you remember iRobot with Will Smith back in the day? It's one of them ones. Raya made 9 saves in the whole game. His average per game is 2 or 3. He could be in pain through the injury. I could be biased, but it's possible. Well, he's out tonight's game. He's injured, so it looks like he was. Excuse me, I'm drinking fizzy water. I was telling the truth. He said Newcastle were going to win big. That's my example of asking someone for their opinion of a club they are not a fan of, Terry.
You literally won the league last season and lost at Newcastle. Me saying, you see, Marco is rattled. Because I said the next 8 games, you're going to win 7 of them. But the one game that I said you're going to lose. Wow.
Aya's back again here and says what Mo is saying is actually correct. Arsenal is a good target because they have history and have underachieved. If Arsenal win, guess what, Terry? Man United will be the next target. Trust me, if and when Man United start becoming better, you think you've seen Arsenal hate, it will be on another level. The media published all the new stadium stuff, and people have come at me for sharing it. They're like, Terry, you're lying to people that they're going to employ 92,000 people at Old Trafford. I'm like, no one said that. We're talking about every single bit of rebuild, construction, infrastructure, railway, all the jobs afterwards in the multiple new businesses that get built, all the construction workers building the stadium, the surrounding areas, the 17,000 homes. It's quite reasonable that 92,000 people across that project and after will have been employed. But because it's Man United doing something good, people just can't, instead of just going, do you know what? That's really quite good. People have to find a way to hate on it. Ghost here says, if we're talking about pressure to win because of the top 5 finishes, Spurs should have the most pressure to win. The word should win only applies to teams equipped to win, and that's City. Now, I agree with that logical standpoint. If it's based on how long it's been without winning, the most pressure should be on Spurs. Yes.
That's wrong. That's completely wrong.
Why?
The word should. Okay. So Manchester United at the current moment, they should win. The reality is they can't win. So the word should doesn't apply when you only can win. So Man United, basically, it's very simple. You have a manager for 3 years now. You should win. Simple. Arsenal now, 5 years under the same manager. They should win. When Jurgen Klopp won 1 league title and he has 9 years, he should win. Equipped to win or not, that's on the board, on the recruitment, blah, blah, blah. So that's why we criticize them, Ghost Nation. So that is wrong, what you just said.
Fair dudes. Boys, you guys chat that private chat for me. That'd be wicked,
yep.
Boys. Thank you. This member chat here, 32 months of member, so congrats on the rapid growth of the channel. Look, we've got a few announcements that will be coming out in the next few weeks, which is going to explain a bit of that. But I want to thank, KJ gets a lot of thanks as ever. I want to thank Dre, who is one of our editors, the work he's been doing on Instagram and TikTok, and the traffic that we have generated from there. I think we've got 2 videos are now well over 2 million. That have generated so much traffic back to the Football Terrace on here. TikToks as well. We've gone from 200 likes to 600 or 1,000. Loads of traffic from those platforms, which has been amazing. So thank you to all of the YouTube people that have always been here, but the new subscribers in the last month, you've been amazing. And some other elements of that are all going to make sense in the next few weeks. So thank you all very much indeed. Completely off topic, but Mo, how did you feel when R9 signed for Inter, and how would you summarize his time there?
I wasn't supporting Inter when he signed for Inter, to be honest. I supported Inter after he joined Inter. There was not a lot of social media coverage and TV coverage for signings and stuff like that back in 90.
Well, there's no social media. The internet barely existed back then.
And there was no TV to actually show signings and arriving at the airport. And his time at Inter was good, but it's a little bit underwhelming because he got back-to-back injuries. That is my answer.
Jack, the answer to this one, Joshua Jack, is no. I wouldn't back us to win the league. If they were to lose, I mean,
he was asking me, by the way, mid thing.
Oh, sorry.
But remember when I was doing my monologue, what I said? I said if a Spurs or a Chelsea fan doesn't want Arsenal to win the league, I understand it. No one's asking you to back Arsenal.
Sorry, late to the stream. Just have to say, with the media attacking my team, Arsenal, it just shows how deadly we are and how far we have come. I agree, Daniel. I really do. Husam, I agree. I used to think the way you said, but I have grown and learned. Pains me as a United fan, but the Liverpool team was great. Makes me feel dumb when I think back, being so biased.
Exactly.
Why is pinching Butt's leg and Butt got sent off? Hate Arsenal doing it, but admire them for it. Premier League said the lack of mentality, they have it now. Sorry, people said. No, you're absolutely right, my friend. I don't know what crabs in the bucket mean. That must be a saying that I'm not familiar with. I'd love to know. Mo's man-child manic temper is enough to win against Husam in a fight.
Actually, Terry will tell you this, the more composed you are, the more likely you are to win a fight.
This is true. I've listened to this show for a long time, but I am truly disgusted by what I've heard today. Mo would destroy Husam in a fight. Thank you, Frankie. I appreciate that. That would be so funny. I was happy to see United do it in a fashion when they won the treble. As a gooner, I accepted we were just short of the best. I understand it at times. When Man United beat Chelsea in the Champions League, all my mates support different teams, some up in the north, some in London, but they all sort of, none of them were happy Man United won, but they were happy that Chelsea didn't, because back then the narrative was football won, because Chelsea had a lot of bad press because of how their money had come in and stuff like that. But there we go. Have you recovered from losing to AC Milan, Mo?
No.
I told you guys were pony. I told you were pony last week. Boys, look, viewers, stay with us. By the way, hit the like button, please. Stay with us. We've got an interesting Chelsea debate. We're going to try and get to the Man United stuff, but we've got to go into this Chelsea debate now. The Athletic have stated and confirmed what Don has said, and that is that Cole Palmer and Nicholas Jackson are the best attacking partnership in the Premier League, and this is a fact. You're always detrimental to Chelsea, Husam, but the Athletic have now, they are the best attacking partnership. They're scoring loads of goals. They're winning games. Do you agree with this claim from the Athletic and Don?
I quit. I cannot do this. I cannot take this shit seriously anymore. Oh my God, West Ham, you have blood on your hands. Listen, Palmer and Jack, I remember 3 years ago, we were at least doing it with like Son and Kane, we were doing it with Salah and Mane. Yeah, this league fell off, man. Now we're doing it with Palmer and Jackson. Fucking hell. The thing is, the same Chelsea fans are the last people away from like GA and stuff. They're the one fan base that don't mention GA at all, except when it comes to Cole Palmer. The unfortunate reality for me in that table is they partnered up my guy Mo with certain Uruguayan striker. I wish they partnered him with someone better, but unfortunately he doesn't exist. Listen, I'd rather have Haaland alone than Palmer and Jackson together. I'd rather have Mo Salah alone than Palmer and Jackson together. So yes, Cole Palmer is a very good player. Jackson is hit and miss. Jackson's problem is in the big games, in my opinion. I think that's the games in which he kind of folds a little bit. Havertz is the opposite. He's always good in the big game, and he's not that good in the regular game, to be honest with you. But he's more clutch. Thing is with Jackson is there's just such a lack of consistency with him, because he has games where he's really good, and he has games where you're like, what the hell? Just this season, we saw the game against Manchester City. You're like, bro, what are you doing? You're just running into just air like that. And then we see the game against West Ham, and he has 2 fantastic finishes. But listen, consistency is king. If they do this till the end of the season, we can talk. We can sit up here and we can say, yes, they're the best partnership, blah, blah, blah. But, what if stuff changes? I don't know. But look, Chelsea are a good team. They're not a bad team. They are top 4 contenders. I think they will fall a little bit short of Newcastle and Aston Villa. But I think they do finish above Spurs and Man United. So, listen, Palmer's a very good player. I think he's going to get less GA with Maresca just because of the way that they play. And Jackson, it's all about consistency, Terry. Because if you remember last year, when you were doing shows on the Football Terrace, probably in the first 6 months of last season, no Chelsea fan was a fan of Jackson. Like, you could count them on one hand how many Chelsea fans actually like Jackson. But now that you have a bit of consistency, this is what happened. And the thing that makes me laugh as well is, in the summer, all the Chelsea fans wanted Victor Osimhen. If Osimhen had signed for Chelsea, Jackson is going to the bench. Let's not do this whole delusional stuff and say, wow, Jackson would have played left wing. No. He would have went to the bench. So, yeah, listen, Palmer is a fantastic player. Jackson still has to prove it. That's it. It's all about consistency.
Numbers don't lie, Husam. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie.
You know why they lie? Because we're 5 games into the season. So calm yourself.
No, but he has been. Jackson has been consistent since last season.
Let me just jump in for a second. Yeah, those stats are from the beginning of last season, so it isn't just 5 games.
It's not now, Husam. That's not now.
Yeah, but these 5 games have impacted a lot. And out of all those GA as well, how many of them are goals and assists from Palmer? I'd assume 3/4 are at least Palmer.
So
Jackson scored more goals.
Hang on, but they're sorry, just to break it down. That is goals and assists between the two of them. It's where either one of them has scored or assisted each other. That's what it means.
Okay, and I'm saying at least 3/4 of that is Palmer, like Palmer scoring or Palmer.
No, I think most of the goals are Jackson's in it. Jackson's assisted, I think, 3 of the 10. Yeah,
3 of the 10. And how many did Palmer assist?
Well, the 7 then, isn't it? The reverse.
7.
I think it's around that number.
Fair enough.
I'm just have to say about this thing, like about Palmer and Jackson.
They put Salah with Nunez.
Yeah, but that's what you have. But okay, so hear me out then. But you sit in front of people and tell them, I have the best attack in the league. Do you still have the best attack in the league?
What?
Answer the people.
What happened?
You sit on shows and tell people, you sit in front of people and gaslight Liverpool fans sometimes and tell them, we have the best attack in the league. Just let me finish.
We have the best attack for you. All-time low.
Hold on. I'm being serious. Why is he crying now? Can he stop crying? I'm muting my mic. He's rattled already.
Climb back to it. Lack of composure. That's exactly why he wouldn't win in a fight. No composure.
Who's composure? You literally just didn't let me even finish the sentence, bro. He sits on shows and tell them, I have the best attack in the league. But he cried when they paired 2 of his attackers together. How does that make sense, bro? Sam,
because they paired
do you still have the best attack in the league?
Habibi, I answered your question. They paired the best one out of my 6 with the worst one out of my 6. That's the problem.
Can I actually counter that? They actually paired the 2 with the most GA together.
Can I throw something? Can I throw something, Mo? Can I throw something at you? You say numbers don't lie. I want to break something down to you. When you break down the goals, so that it doesn't matter who scored, they're either scoring or assisting each other. Those goals have come, one against Tottenham with 9 men, one against West Ham this season, one against West Ham last season, one against Everton last season, one against Newcastle, one against Luton, one against Burnley, one against Sheffield United, and one against Crystal Palace and one against Wolves. So one of those 10 are against the top 6 team. One of them was against
Spurs, the high line thing, right?
Yes, but only one of them came. Only one of them was.
One of them came from Palmer.
So these goals and assists have to be where it's either Nico Williams scoring or assisting, and Palmer either scoring or assisting with each other.
Now I understand why they paired up Nunez, because all Nunez's assists is actually to Mo.
That's it.
Yeah, that's why. So, do you think the numbers lie based on the quality of opponents that Nico Williams and Palmer have combined together in? Do you think it makes them the best when you look at the vast majority they've scored against are mid-table to relegation fodder? Does it change your mind at all?
It does not as much as because you can only.
Sorry, not Nico Williams, Nico Jackson. Sorry, I think I said Nico Williams. Nico Jackson.
Like sorry. It's you can only beat what's
for Lautaro. Then?
Sorry. Please let me just let Mo answer me for a second, Husam. Go on.
Hold on. It doesn't change as much energy because at the end you have to beat what's in front of you. Chelsea actually last season are accused of a team that lost against, drew against Burnley and lost points against smaller teams. So for them to actually perform against these smaller teams, it actually proves the point that they actually can get these results in smaller. Against bigger teams, you're not going to score more than one. So it's less likely that you can actually assist each other. It's less likely that you do that. Luton, for example, Liverpool lost the league based on Husam because Darwin Núñez missed against Luton. So winning against smaller teams, actually, it is you can only beat what's in front of you, and them scoring goals against these teams actually can elevate their place in the league. If Chelsea lose, okay, let me put it out there. If Chelsea don't win against any of the top 6, but win all the other games, they will definitely get top 4. And it won't matter at that time. You scoring the goals against the big clubs, right? You winning against the smaller teams is what matter at the end of the game. Because these are more points than you winning against top 6 teams.
Okay, I
I've
didn't
always
interrupt
made-
you once. Let me speak now.
Yeah,
Guys,
go
the
ahead.
reason why Inter Milan Mo does not rate Lautaro Martinez is because Lautaro Martinez scores goals against Monza Salernitana, but when you need him, he doesn't score goals. And yesterday, Footy Judge Mo, aka the biggest fraud on YouTube, told me I rate strikers and forwards who score in the big game, players who are clutch, blah blah blah. Not a single one of those goals or those moments are clutch. And when you say in a big game you can only score 1 or 2, that's a lie. Mo Salah alone at Old Trafford this season had 3 GA in the same game. Literally 3 GA in the same exact game. All combined with Luis Diaz, if you want to do the combination stuff. Diaz got the assist for the Mo Salah goal, and Mo got both assists for both Diaz goals as well. So, listen, for me, Terry said something, to be honest with you, last time when we were doing the whole best attack in the league thing. He was like, I'd rather have Haaland over 5 of them. And I was thinking, would I trade 5 of my forwards for Erling Haaland? And the answer is yes, I would. I'd send 5 of them to Man City to get Erling Haaland because Salah and Haaland alone will get it. The reason why maybe why a Salah and a Nunes aren't higher up in this ranking stuff is because Mo Salah has the most big chances created in the league last season, 23. A Mo Salah big chances created compilation is a Nunes miss compilation. And I'm talking about tap-ins. So he could have easily won the Playmaker award. So, you know, at the end of the day, I think, look, they're good forwards, but we need to see them do it in the big games. You know, that's kind of what makes the difference. As
Can
well.
you not lie and again? Can you not lie?
Hold on.
Can you not lie again, Husam? I never said what you said. By the way, you phrased it to a way to make it. Don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me. I said I would rather the player that scored the 1 goal when I need. I never said big games or small games. I said I would rather the player when the 3 points are on the line against whoever to score me the goals and be clutch rather than the player that scored the 3rd or the 4th goal, no matter who the opposition is. So that's what I said. It has nothing to do with big games, right? It has nothing to do with big games. It is all about clutch.
Can I jump in on this debate for a minute? There's a few things to this. So I think currently in the Premier League, Don is right. I think the Athletic is right. We could argue eye test, but that's subjective. But statistically speaking, they create the most goals and they score the most goals as a pair. When you start looking, I broke down all the other partnerships as well over the last couple of seasons. It's not as though any of the others, the lower numbers maybe, but none of the guys with a large amount. It's not as though they're scoring all theirs against the top 2 or 3 teams and none of the bottom teams. It's a pretty even mix. So I think it is the best partnership right now if we're talking about it in the context of partnerships. Is Nico Jackson in the top 10 best attackers in the league? No, he may not even be in the top 20 if we were being really honest right now. I think you're right. He's got to add those big game performances in there. But as a partnership, they are the best. The problem is, and this is the bit that Chelsea fans might not like, the bar is exceedingly low. So it's one of those things where, you know, you could win. You could win a national championships for the 100-meter sprint in certain countries around the world, but your time isn't good enough to get you to the Olympics still. You're still not far. There is still a benchmark of how fast you've got to run, whether you win your national championships or not. Same with a lot of the sports at the Olympics. If you don't hit a certain bar, it doesn't matter if you're the best in your country, the best in your continent. That's why you see some nations turn up to the Olympics with 5 athletes. It isn't because they haven't got more athletes in their country sometimes. It's because they haven't hit a certain standard, right? Sometimes it's because of money, but sometimes it's a standard thing. So that's not a dig. Where I think you're right, Husam, if and when Jackson starts doing it against City, against Chelsea, Man United, against Liverpool, these teams, if they can keep scoring and assisting at this rate against the teams they have been, and then add this, we know their technical ability is both very good. If they then add that, then you're talking about potentially the best pairing in the Prem at a high level where the standard is massive. And I think for me, they are the best right now as a collective partnership. We're not talking individually, we're talking as a partnership. But I think they've still got to, what I would say if I was in that dressing room and we were praising them, saying, well done, guys, you're top of the league in terms of your partnership numbers, but I still want you individually to keep improving. You can't go, right, we're the best. Let's stop working on it. They've got to get better and better and better, in my opinion. But I think Chelsea have been doing that recently. I think Chelsea have been improving so much.
Yeah, they're not
in recent weeks. They what?
I said, yeah, they're not a bad team.
I think you're starting to worry about your earlier opinion that basically they're rubbish. They wouldn't beat a combined 11 with the likes of Wolves. I think you're starting to panic. Are you realizing you've got that wrong?
Those are rumors. I've never said they wouldn't beat a combined 11 with Wolves. That's rumors. And you know, sometimes we say stuff for dramatic effect. But listen, Chelsea are an okay team. Like, they're not that bad.
Well, you do things for clicks. Oh, I got
and they're better.
Wow, I can't believe you admitted that. We don't do that on the terrace, by the way.
Yes,
never.
No one does anything for clicks. We state our
okay.
honesty.
By the way, can we add something, some context with Husam? Do you think I'm gonna ask you a genuine question, football question, no banter here, nothing?
I'm gonna ask a non-genuine question in 3, 2, 1. Ask.
La wallahi, I just looked at the actual picture that Terry shared. Something that we didn't notice. It's the conversion rate.
Terry works for everyone. Terry's Nicki Minaj at this point.
Okay, just can you just ask, guys, seriously? They created 22 chances only, and they converted 10. The conversion rate for them is the highest as well. Does that mean they are the most effective team as well? They are the most effective duo as well. That their chances that they create are actually very clear cut. That they convert almost 50% of them or 40%.
When you
is
look,
that something we need to look at?
It is, because when you look at, it's like 38 or something that Nunez and Salah have created, but only 7 have been converted.
Yes.
So it's the volume's good. It's not the highest volume. It's a good volume. But their productivity is there. And look, I know that everyone wants to focus on eye test and everybody likes how it makes me feel. I get all of that. Feelings. But you can't deny productivity. And their conversion rate is very good. They've just got to start doing it in those bigger games. And I think if they start doing it in those bigger games, you're looking at a very deadly duo.
Who's on the top 4 of that picture? I'm trying to see it in my phone, but it's not working.
The top 4 in this is you've got so under Palmer and Jackson, you've got Bailey and Watkins, you've got Saka and Kai Havertz, and you have Nunez and Salah. Then it's Alanga and Chris Wood, Son and Johnson, and then one underneath that is Watkins and Diaby.
Haaland and De Bruyne, only 5.
Haaland and who?
De Bruyne.
Oh, Haaland and De Bruyne.
Yeah, that's because the conversion rate is dropped. The amount of chances created is the same in the last year and a bit, but the conversion rate is lower.
Are we saying that Jackson and Palmer are better in conversion rate than Haaland? And that's what the stats say. And De Bruyne.
Statistically speaking, they are. But this is the question. If you could sign right now Haaland and KDB for the rest of the season, or Jackson and Palmer, who are you picking?
I will bin the whole Chelsea team to sign.
I would sign Haaland over the whole Chelsea squad together, brother.
I will cancel. If you ask Chelsea fans now, they will give up the majority of their attacking line for having Kevin De Bruyne and Haaland just for this season.
Yes, 100%. Chelsea fans themselves would sell all the forward line for De Bruyne and Haaland. Let's go there.
Come on.
This super chat here is hit the like button. Exactly, Luke Skywalker. Thank you.
Big up, Luke.
Like button.
Omar
here says, as a Chelsea fan, this praise is too soon. It's been 5 games, guys. Let's do this when it's over 15 to 20 games. Then we praise. Please, Husam, keep hating.
How am I hating? I just said you're not a bad team. That's not hating. That's the best compliment I've given you over the last 2 years.
That was a backhanded compliment. We can all
That's
tell.
exactly like Bernardo Silva's compliment to Liverpool. Exactly the same.
Exactly.
But listen, I wouldn't clap for Chelsea if they won something either. Me
comparing Husam to Bernardo Silva irritates his soul, I'm sure.
Kelvin here, says, big up guys. Jackson was a winger, was converted to a striker at Chelsea, and his work rate is good, tiring out defenses. He will improve more. Thank you.
But why did you want Osimhen then? That's the thing that just.
But I don't think there's anything. Again, I think you can be the best current partnership numbers wise in the league and still want better. I don't think there's anything. If there's better available, I think. I've been 100% Jackson the whole time. It's ruining. He says rare talent. Let's not exclude the change in tactics. The EPL experience game plan is on form. Never Osimhen is what Runin says here. He doesn't want him. Husam opening a waffle stand is what the fouled wizard says here.
You literally have failed.
Wow, this take is massive. This next take is massive. Not swapping Palmer for Haaland.
You know, earlier on when I was doing my little rant, I said the Arsenal fans, Liverpool fans, and United fans are the most annoying because we have a lot. I take that back. Chelsea fans are by far the most annoying, smallest, lowest football IQ when it comes to any of these conversations. Not swapping Palmer for Haaland is the funniest shit ever.
Why
Erling
it's funny?
Haaland-
I don't understand.
Erling
Why it's funny.
Haaland would have had Chelsea of last season, even under Pochettino, finishing in the top 4 with ease. So listen, guys, let's not.
No, you're,
listen, there's
you're
players.
wrong. You're wrong.
طب
You're wrong.
خلينا نحكي بعدين انت رد. مش كل ما احكي كلمتين تقاطع.
You're
Anyway.
wrong.
So here's the thing with the Palmer and Haaland stuff. Erling Haaland is a player that 90% of the teams would swap and trade for. Now, there are players based on consistency, productivity, and a long period of time in which they have delivered that you wouldn't trade Haaland for. Meaning, if I say I wouldn't trade Haaland for Mo Salah, that's not me being a Salah fan or whatever. That's because he's done it 8-year period. I have a massive thing to go on. Same thing with other players in this. To be honest with you, there aren't that many other players in this league that you wouldn't trade for Haaland. I mean, Mo, you wouldn't trade for Haaland. Probably Alisson, you wouldn't trade for Haaland. Virgil, maybe Trent. But you look at the I think Arsenal should trade any player for Erling Haaland, maybe except Saliba, and that's what I think. So yeah.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? Remove Cole Palmer from Chelsea last season. Add Erling Haaland to the same squad. Do you think Chelsea still finishes 6th?
No, Chelsea finished 4th.
You
With
really
Haaland
think?
goals.
Okay, hold on. I think you're looking at it. We have to remove Palmer. It's not going to be Palmer and Haaland.
Yeah, you can play Madueke on the right, whoever. They score a whole lot of goals.
I actually completely disagree with this.
More,
I
remember
think
the
you
first
remove-
6 months of the season
I actually,
when Chelsea was dominating
Palmer is
everyone
the
and then
one.
they just missed chances.
I think you got this the other way. I think without Cole Palmer, even if you give them a striker last season, they don't create these chances. Haaland will not get chances at all. Cole
Okay,
Palmer
last season,
was
what was
Chelsea
the front
last
three?
season. Yeah,
What was the front 3 last season? Tell me.
bro, Jackson,
Palmer, and
Palmer, and it was Sterling, Mudryk.
Sterling,
They
okay.
struggled.
If you remove from that
Cole
Palmer
Palmer.
and add Haaland, your front 3 now becomes Jackson on the left, Haaland down the middle, Madueke on the right.
That doesn't happen. They don't create any chances for Haaland at all.
How
Seriously,
they
are
don't
you
create
serious?
any chances? Jackson can create for Haaland easily.
Jackson and creation in the same sentence.
You have me here doing City prop. Are you aware of how mad this
No,
is?
I actually think you are someone who sit and said that in the compilation of Erling Haaland, the Ballon d'Or, he's the tap-ins, the penalties, and he doesn't create
Yeah, but that's
chances.
what Chelsea needed last season. They didn't have the tap
With Palmer, okay, we're going in circles here. With Palmer, I actually
I
don't
understand,
think.
but that's the question. Listen, I look at
I actually
Chelsea
don't think
front
you're.
three. I look at Chelsea's
No one
front three last
creates.
season. Madueke, Haaland, Jackson is better than Palmer, Jackson, and Sterling by far.
Absolutely not. I don't think they create any chances for Haaland to score at all.
Yes, they would. They would literally create chances. They created
know.
chances. Mo, remember me and you? We reached a point of agreement.
Can I ask you a question? Simple
Can
question.
I just want to say one sentence. Me and you, we reached a point of agreement last season, like 9 games into the season, 10 games into the season. Footy Judge Mo and Husam took a step back and said, guys, Chelsea have the most big chances created in the entirety of the league. Poch's system and style is similar to Klopp. It's not about having a specific creator. It's about the team creating through the press. Meaning Chelsea would win the ball from the 2 centre-backs and then create a chance. What I'm saying is, what Chelsea lacked last season was goals from a striker who is clinical. That's why they wanted Osimhen to begin with.
Palmer there. Okay, can I ask the question to Terry now? Who do you think can carry a team, Terry? If you're built, who do you think can carry a team? Cole Palmer. Both of them are 23 years old, by the way.
Yeah, look, I think if we're looking at it based on Chelsea last season, I understand they needed someone to finish the chances, but so many of those chances were created by Cole Palmer. So if he's removed, then I think a creativity issue, you could argue, would have been more problematic for them. You look at Man United this season, we've got no problem creating clear-cut chances in every game. We haven't been able to fit. If we had Haaland in our team this season, you could argue we'd be in and around the top position based on goal difference and more points. We'd have taken those chances against Brighton. We'd have scored more goals against Fulham for the goal difference, and we'd have beaten Crystal Palace. Therefore, we would have 3, 4, 5 more points. 5 more points would put us on, 12 points. if you're not creating chances, Haaland scores lots of goals. He isn't just a tapping merchant, but he needs someone feeding the ball into him. And Chelsea would probably lose that last year. This season it's different because they've obviously gone and brought in Jadon Sancho. They've got Pedro Neto now. I think the level of creativity has gone up a level. And last season, and Kunku was out injured a lot as well. So I do get why a Chelsea fan would say this, if I'm being fair.
Yeah.
We've said since day one, Sam is disingenuous and not objective when it comes to Chelsea. Ever since Caicedo and Lavia had he's had burning hate.
Every single Straight Facts episode, some random Chelsea fan will just mention Caicedo and Lavia. If I had a Caicedo agenda, I would be talking shit about Caicedo. But I said Caicedo is the best midfielder for Chelsea. So how's that me having an agenda? When Lavia played, the one game that he played this season, I said Lavia was amazing. You guys think that this is the gotcha moment. This is the response. Oh, let me type a super chat. Caicedo and Lavia. Wow, that debunks nothing I've said. Haaland is better than Palmer. Yes. Wow. What does that have to do with Caicedo and Lavia? I don't know.
Husam, don't lump all Chelsea fans with those of low IQ and calling everyone low IQ. I've seen Liverpool fans say Hendo was miles better than Rodri.
You know, I lived in Malaysia for a year and a half, and Malaysians are very honest people. You get me? No one ever said Hendo's better than Rodri. I'll be so honest with you. And if they did, they deserve a slap. So slap them for me.
Real Chelsea fans won't give Palmer up for anyone in the league. He's Ballon d'Or winner. He's a Ballon d'Or winner, and Palmer makes and scores goals. Haaland is a pure... he's Sam... Palmer is a future Ballon d'Or winner. That is what I'm...
Haaland didn't finish second in the Ballon d'Or anyway. So what the fuck kind of logic is this, guys? I swear this is so weird. This is weird. We're all gonna act like Haaland is a nothing player now. Like, where are we going with this? Where are we going with this fucking football conversations? I'd take Haaland in my team. I'd give up Diaz, Nunez, Jota, Chiesa, and Gakpo to Manchester City just to have Erling Haaland alone. Come on now. I swear, you guys just make...
Would you trade Salah for Erling Haaland?
No, but I've already explained why. 8 years of consistency. I have at least something to go off of.
Yeah.
Mo can intersell Barella to City in January.
No, I don't think it's going to happen in January. They are targeting Barella, Zubamendi, and some 2 other players. I don't think it's going to happen, Armin.
Can you imagine the meltdown on Mo's channel?
Not
if it happens. Oh my God.
Nariman.
Can you imagine the meltdown?
Yeah, bro. Like, we aren't selling Barella. They aren't. We aren't. And unless they offer 100 million or something like that, I don't think we're gonna sell Barella in January at all.
AMT here says this season they can't compare Arsenal and Chelsea after 5 games, who had the toughest games.
100%.
On those stats. On those stats, by the way, that I've seen where it's like Arsenal were really low on sort of progression into the opponent's box and chances created. No one else has had the games away. None of the top 6 teams have had the games away that Arsenal have. And then the City second half has skewed the stats so dramatically because it's only a short amount of time. It's going to take a little bit of time for them to kind of level themselves out. Husam, your profile picture was Caicedo for a while.
I have a lot of profile pictures. I have a picture of Saka. I have a picture of Troops. I have a picture of Hamza on Messi. Look at this. Does this mean I'm a Hamza hater? Come on now. Come on, you guys, man. It's just fun. That has nothing to do with it.
All 8 of Chelsea attackers have GA this season. Can the best attack in the league, Deadpool, say this?
Yes, every Liverpool forward that played actually does have GA. Salah, Diaz, Jota, Nunez, and Gakpo all have GA. Hold. Go check it.
Pressure on City, not Arsenal, Liverpool, or others. If Arsenal gets 95 points and City win with 101 points, it's not a missed opportunity. Arsenal ain't getting extra points because Rodri is out. Pressure is on Man City.
No pressure on Man City, but Man City will get less points than 101 points with Rodri. You'll see. We'll see. To be honest, against Newcastle, we'll just see. It's just 2 days from now. Newcastle away. You'll see. If Man City lose this game, I'm telling you, people will change their energy. You guys will see. And also, just to be honest, we have to look at Arsenal now and think, okay, you faced the...
Hang on. Yeah, you're being called out, Husam, because you're right. Chiesa hasn't scored this season.
Oh my God, Chiesa has played like 5 Premier League minutes. Have some shame, guys. He literally came on 5 minutes, man. You guys are so shameless.
Yeah, but can you answer me the question, Husam? Does he have any GA this season?
No, but he played 5 minutes.
But he played then.
Yes, 5 minutes. Who scores a goal in 5 minutes? Haaland. That's why you should trade him for Paul.
This was from earlier. It says crab in a barrel syndrome is a metaphor used to describe the mentality and behavior of individuals belonging to or identifying with a particular community or culture who hold each other back. As in they're trying to climb out and they pull each other down.
Yeah.
I get it now. I've never heard that, but thank you. I'm going to research it. I like learning things like that. I am a Chelsea fan. Hate Arsenal. You'll never walk alone.
He's trolling me basically because
Okay.
I said Liverpool fans shouldn't want City to win the league.
I get it. Challenge to Mo. City have to win the league or it's failure because they now have to play out their charges for anyone who takes them seriously.
The charges have nothing to do with the football on the pitch, to be honest. That has nothing to do with it, Garrett. Like, I don't get it. City don't have that much pressure. If City lose the league this season with a point or two, do you think they're going to sit and cry? They will identify the problems and they will address them. They already won 4 in a row and a treble on the way. What are we talking about here? There's not a lot of pressure on City. Do you think City players are in the dressing room? Oh my God, we're so worried we're not going to win the league. No, they're doing their business and they're doing their job. And I don't think they're worried as much. There's no pressure from the media on City to win the league at all. No one sits on the media and says City have to win the league, my friend. No one does that. Why do people want to put pressure on City? I don't think they're feeling the pressure. By the way, they are rattled only because for some reason, City can't win against Arsenal, people. Guys, Pep Guardiola has not won against Arsenal in 4 games. And that annoys him so much because now the media are starting, you can't win against Arsenal. And the players are feeling it. Bernardo's annoyed. Haaland is annoyed. Everyone is annoyed at City. Walker is annoyed. Everyone is annoyed. But that has nothing to do with them winning the league or not. Because I believe Man City don't count the games against Arsenal and Liverpool as part of that league run. I don't think they want to get points. City will win 10 in a row, even if they lose to Arsenal. That's what they care about.
MJ here says, Kai Havertz never made one pass in the City game. I believe that too until I saw a video today that shows Kai Havertz play a pass. It was only one, by the way. I'm going to put it out there, but he played a pass to Saka, which I don't even think Arsenal fans went looking for it. I think they just saw it on their, they do. All clubs have these things on their YouTube where it shows like the game from pitch side angles. He controls it on his chest and then he plays a pass out to Saka. So yeah, that stat was wrong.
That, Lewis.
I thought it was true as well. But do you know what's really funny? I got called out the other day by people saying, you changed your mind on the time added on. Well, yeah, I did. I said, I thought longer should have been on there, but I'm not the one there with a stopwatch keeping the official fucking time, am I? Like, I don't know exactly what's happened. The same as I didn't remember. I thought Havertz did make a pass in the game. Then the stats and the facts said he didn't. So I believed them. Now we've seen a pass. I don't believe the facts anymore because I've seen evidence. That's just how life works, children. If you tell me something's true and you present a fact to me, I believe it. But my mind won't change typically on that fact until you present me with a better fact. Yeah. Something that supersedes the previous one. So there we go. Look, I want to thank, we didn't get around to the Man United section, but look, we'll be talking about Man United on the match reaction tonight. So don't you worry about that, people. This video is going to take you through to Judge Mo's channel. So go and watch his show right now. This will take you right through to it. Hit the like button before you leave, and we'll see you tonight for the match reaction for the Man United, the Liverpool, and the Arsenal game. Until next time, I want to thank all the super chatters. Thank everyone who's commented. Thank everyone who's hit the like button. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you soon. Peace.